She's a mama, a wife with a story to share. Right over coffee, find hope and repair. From heartbreak to healing, through Christ she's free. Your past don't define you, be who you're meant to be. Right over coffee, where healing begins.
Hey friend, let me ask you something real quick. And I don't want you to answer it quickly. I want you to feel it. So, my question, have you ever walked into a room and it felt like you were already being measured? Not by what you said, but how you looked? I mean, take me for instance, I got the 80s little hairstyle going right here. I got the shirt that's a little too tight. I mean, how your kids were acting maybe, how put together you are or not, or it seemed, or maybe this. Have you ever looked at someone else and within seconds, you already decided something about them? And then there's the layer we don't talk about enough. Have you ever judged yourself so quietly, so consistently, that it just became your normal voice? Maybe you're saying, this isn't good enough. I should be doing better. Why can't I get it together? No one else even said it, but you believed it anyway. What if I told you that judgment doesn't just happen between people? It actually happens between and within us all day long. This is Right Over Coffee. And today, we're not just talking about how we judged others. We're talking about how we assume, how we internalize, and how slowly we disconnect from others and from ourselves. So one of the topics that we can bring into judgment is the speed of judgment. Seriously, let's sit here for just a minute because judgment is so fast, like really super fast paced, right? You don't plan it, you don't announce it, and it just happens. Is it ringing a bell yet? You see someone and you're like, your mind fills the blanks, right? She's too much. He's not doing enough. They should know better. And sometimes you don't even believe you're judging. You call it discernment, awareness, just being real. But if we slow it down, what's really happening is this. We're creating a story without context. Ephesians 7, 1-3. Judge not that you be not judged. Why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that's in your own eye? This verse isn't just correction, it's an invitation to pause, to look inward, to recognize. And what we notice in others often reveals what's unsettled in us. Journal time. What do you tend to notice first in people? Strength or struggle? And what does that say about where your heart has been lately? So let's talk about the mom in the store. Ready? Let's go back to that mom because this one matters. Okay? She's in the store. Her kid is loud, maybe feral, maybe emotional, maybe not listening. I have 5 kids. I totally get it. And she's trying. You can see she's trying. But what you don't see, what a lot of people didn't see in me, was I barely slept. She's overwhelmed. She's questioning if she's doing anything right. She's already tired before she even walked in. And then the looks start. Not loud, not obvious, but felt. And here's what's powerful. Sometimes the judgment isn't spoken, but it's deeply received. Because that mom, she already has a voice inside saying, I'm failing. I should be better. I can't handle this. So when she feels the eyes all on her, it just confirms what she already believes. 1 Samuel 16:7 says, "For the Lord sees not as man sees. The Lord looks on the heart." God is seeing her effort, her exhaustion, her love behind the chaos. But she's stuck seeing her worst moment and her whole identity. So let's ask ourselves a general question. Where have you believed a moment defined you? Where are you still carrying a label that was never yours to keep? Here's another one for judgment. Silent self-judgment. Let's inward, because this one sits deeper than most people admit. Silent self-judgment. It doesn't sound loud, it doesn't look dramatic, but it's constant. It shows up like replaying conversations, overanalyzing decisions, comparing yourself without even realizing it, feeling behind even when you're doing your best. And here's the part that connects to unspoken goodbyes. You slowly disconnect from yourself, not all at once, but in small ways. You stop celebrating progress. You stop acknowledging growth. You stop giving yourself grace. And eventually, you start believing, I'm just not enough. Romans 8:1, English Standard Version, all these verses are from there. There is therefore no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Notice that word, no condemnation. But so many of us live like condemnation is normal. Truth, some of the harshest judgment in your life didn't come from others. It came from the voice you never challenged. So another journal question. What do you say to yourself when no one is listening? And what would you talk to someone you love the way you talk to yourself? Here's another one, society versus God. Let's sit in this contrast a little longer. Society trains us to evaluate. God invites us to understand. Society says, fix it, label it, move on, right? Right? Getting it? God says, sit in it, love through it, stay present. Colossians 3:12 says, put on then compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience. That's not rushed. That's not reactive. That's intentional. And if we're honest, we don't struggle with knowing this, right? We struggle with slowing down enough to live it. So when we experience judgment, it creates distance. Judgment doesn't always break relationships loudly. Sometimes it breaks it quietly. People stop sharing, stop opening up, and stop being real because they don't feel safe. And this is where Unspoken Goodbyes lives. Okay? Not in the goodbye itself, but in the distance before it. I'll just keep this to myself. They wouldn't understand. I don't want to be judged again. And slowly, connection fades. So who have you pulled away from because you didn't feel safe being seen? And who might be pulling away from you for the same reason? So let's talk about breaking the pattern. Let's talk about what we can actually, and if we can actually change this, not perfectly, but intentionally. So number one suggestion, slow the moment down. Not everything needs an immediate conclusion. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is pause. Number two, separate facts from stories. What did you actually see versus What did you assume? 3, speak truth to yourself. When self-judgment arises, replace I'm failing with I'm learning. Replace I should be better with I'm growing. Great verse here. I love it. 2 Corinthians 10:5 says, take every thought captive. That includes the ones about you, friend. Number 4, lead with compassion internally and externally, not just towards others, but for yourself, toward yourself. Number 5, remember your own need for grace, because you've had moments too. Moments you wouldn't want judged, and moments you needed understanding. Friend, what if we started seeing differently? Not just others, but ourselves. What if the goal wasn't perfection, but compassion? What if the mom in the store and the voice in your head both received the same thing? Grace. I'm going to leave you with this verse, Galatians 6:2. Bear one another's burdens. This includes your own. This includes your own. So here's your reminder today, guys. Before you judge someone else, pause. Just pause. And before you judge yourself, pause even longer. Because there's always more to the story. And God has never defined you by your worst moment. If this spoke to you today, guys, and you've been carrying that quiet weight from others or from yourself, you don't have to carry it alone. You can reach out to me, elizabethkgreen.com. I'd love to walk alongside you. This is Right Over Coffee, and we're choosing compassion over assumption, over judgment, over silence. One conversation at a time. Love you guys. See you next time.
Right over coffee, where healing begins.